One is selfish. One is money driven. One is a thief. One is a people pleaser. But how do they all connect? Let's find out.
We begin our story with our friend David, your average teen that just wants to get by the day. A guy spending free time he doesn't have at the park, on the phone with his friends talking about the newest sneakers, the disproportional hairstyle as a way to try and stand out in the crowd, the expensive sneakers on as a sad attempt to look good in front of his peers, and the uneven tattoo he got one night because his friends told him to. In the morning an Uber driver, and at night a subpar pool gambler. Breaking in each game with money on the table. Thanks to Lady Luck, our buddy David was able to put his skills to good use and make double the money that he made driving Uber. With each shot being drained in the hole, David's bank account gets bigger and bigger, ending his night in high spirits. This morning, David takes a day off of Uber for a chance to get the newest pair of sneakers that release early in the morning. As anticipation begins to kill David's mental state, he can't do anything but wait for the shoe draw to end and see his results. The loud ding echoes in his ears as he rushes to see the results. Out of frustration, David sees nothing else to do but get to work. The craziest thing about driving Uber is the people David gets to meet. The pastor that gives good life advice. Then we meet the punk that gives our gambler David some more risky ideas. Then the show-off who decided this Uber ride would just be a concert. Then we meet the sketchy Koibu coordinator. There's always that one passenger that keeps to themselves. At the end of the day, a job is a job, and the people you meet kind of add to it. After his working day, David checks the price again of the shoes he missed out on, the resale price being triple the original, adding some salt to the wound. Oh, what's this? Our friend David seems to have found something. Jerking his door open, he goes to investigate. The deserted wallet of a stranger. A quick glance to see if anyone's watching. David runs off, trying to escape the scene. And just like that, our friend David becomes a thief. Was this a good idea? Should he return it? David's mind runs off, contemplating what his next move should be. Was this a mistake? A text puts his mind at ease. Applebee's? Food? An escape from his current dilemma? As he waits for the people to arrive, his mind wanders again. After 10-30 minutes of thinking alone, he can't take it and heads out. David came to the realization that what's been done has been done. Might as well enjoy the spoils and buy the shoes he was so longing for. But why did he have to do it while driving?
Now we move on to Mary, a restaurant manager who, if you ask her friends, takes her work way too seriously. A family business passed down to her. She takes pride in what she does. Always busy on her phone, checking her reviews. You see, this was just another one of Mary's action-filled days. She woke up, brushed her teeth, her hair, the norm. Casually walking downstairs, Mary then ate breakfast, surprisingly still on her phone. Checking her mail, and wait, what was this? Could it be her sister's bridal shower invitation? The Costco membership card she ordered a while back? No. Mary had gotten her monthly bank statement. She barely had enough money to pay this month's rent. But the Mary we know would never stress. She went to go get dressed, picked up her keys, and rushed to get to work. But you see, the thought of having no money plagued Mary's head. She didn't want to shut her restaurant down. She found herself driving around her neighborhood slowly and aimlessly. But she got to work and convinced herself this would be one of her better days. Nope, busier than ever. With waiters and waitresses pacing around the restaurant trying to get everyone's order in on time. A continuous frenzy of customers that did not look like it was going to stop anytime soon. And a newly hired chef struggling to keep up with the work. This was just not Mary's day. But to Mary's relief, the phone rang. She took the phone from her coworker, knowing that this would be the only break she would get. But this isn't Mary's day, remember? It was ironically the biggest order of the month, with a total of 149 links. The newly hired chef went right to work as he watched his shoulders, tempted to eat a wing. Hey, at least now Mary was just a little less broke, right? Wrong. 10 minutes passed and the phone rang again. Was it another order? Nope. It was the same person requesting a cancellation. And as the conversation was heating up with the waitress, she passed Mary the phone. Mary took the phone all confused and tried to reason with the customer, but to no avail. They were set on canceling the order and hung up in Mary's face. Now Mary was a broke manager with no inventory. And with so much on her shoulders, our Mary took her anger out on her coworker, who was soon kicked out of the store, slamming the door on her way out. What's to come in Mary's future? Will things get any worse? Can things get any worse? Only time will tell.
This is Parthy. She's that one friend who shows up at the mall with only $100 in cash, yet somehow manages to go home with half the mall in her bags, and still have money to spare. She wears fancy clothes, expensive jewelry, nice shoes, and keeps up with the trends. Today, Parthy's friends picked her up to go to, you guessed it, the mall, for only the 5th time this week. And this time, it was going to be a day she would never forget. I mean, come on, this is Parthy's world, and they were all just living in it. She was going to buy a couple of trendy accessories, have fun with her friend, and who knows, maybe even hang out back at her place after the mall. They shop for prom dresses, looked at hats, and walked around cracking up jokes like they owned this mall. At one point, Parthy separated from the girls, looking for something in season, until something caught Parthy's eye. She walked over to find a fancy gold watch that would look perfect with her outfit. So then she thoroughly examined it, looked left, then she looked to her right, then she casually slipped it into one of her shopping bags and walked off. While quickly walking away, she reunites with her friends, pretending like everything was okay. She casually responds that she was looking for bags, but it's clear something else was going on, and it doesn't take long for her friends to notice. But once again, she brushes off their concern as she grows more and more uneasy. Their shopping day ended, but the more and more Parthy tried to ignore the paranoia bubbling in her stomach, the worse it became until it consumed her thoughts completely. She went on and on against her own thoughts. Still thinking of what she has done, she walked through the front door and immediately noticed a broken vase. Without any hesitation, she called an Uber and went to clean up the mess. As she left, her mind quickly went back to being uneasy. She quickly entered the Uber as her thoughts were racing. This was not just any vase though, it was her parents' favorite vase. Her already overwhelming thoughts were now growing even more, knowing that she was supposed to watch her brothers instead of going out. They needed to either fix this vase or buy a new one, if there would be a public execution from their parents. Assuming that her brother had gone to youth, she was the only person who could fix the situation. Parthy's perfect day was going downhill, but the solution was easy. Buy a new vase that would hopefully look similar enough to her parents wouldn't notice, before rushing inside the store, silently praying that there would be at least something that would work. She looked all over, from left to right, all across the store. And to her relief, she found the vase that looked almost identical to the one that was in pieces at home. She checked her wallet to make sure she had enough money, but her heart dropped. She patted down her pockets as realization hit her like a brick. She forgot her wallet at home. Mentally scolding herself, she looked around and thought for a moment, out of options. Well, she had one option. She glanced at a nearby customer and decided to do the one thing she knew best: steal. Momentarily shoving her nerves away, she started walking towards her, bumping right into the other customer, apologizing as she slipped her hand into her pocket and snatched their wallet. As she let out a breath, she didn't know what she was holding. She made her way to the register and paid. Already out of the store before the stranger could realize their wallet was gone. More anxious than ever, she called another Uber and decided that maybe some food would calm her down. She enters the Uber and begins to call her friend and rant about the situation. But she's still paranoid about what her parents' reaction might be. Parthy quickly thanked the Uber driver and went to the store in hopes that this dreadful day would all be over. Distracted by her phone, Parthy bumps right into a waitress who's been storming out, flustered. She apologizes quickly before pick up her order. She tries to talk to a worker, but they quickly ask her to wait before rushing off. 10, 20 minutes pass and she's getting more impatient, irritated, and exhausted. realizing her Uber probably ditched her by now. Finally, someone hands her food and she walks out of the store, thinking about what her next move should be. Parthy checked to see that youth should be finished by now, and decided to call her brother to make sure everything was okay. But the phone just kept on ringing and ringing. Let's talk about Anthony, your average teenage kid. Always loves to impress his friends and loves to stand out from the rest of the crowd. Everything he does is for a reason, and it's all for his own benefit. He wears designer fake shoes for attention, doesn't cut his hair so he looks taller than he actually is, and wears a smartwatch to keep up with all the news. But what does this all mean? Well, when Anthony's friends pressured him to throw a party, he didn't think twice before saying yes. I mean, his parents were on vacation, so it was perfect opportunity, right? As Anthony's friends arrived and discussed the party details, Anthony was disturbed about something. Anthony didn't want to disappoint his friends, so he agreed with his friends and decided to throw a party on Friday night during youth. This only makes Anthony more anxious. If he doesn't go to youth, his servants might ask his parents where he was, and he'll be dead before his parents even get home. Anthony decides to suck it up and do it. It's too late to back out now. With a simple text to the group, the party has been set into motion. What's the worst thing that could happen? So Anthony goes about his day and starts heading to the store where he has to buy everything he needs. He gets a couple of snacks, some cereal bars, seltzer water, and he almost forgot the most important thing, the Tide Pods his mom asked him to get last week. The more he thought about the party, the more he forgot about youth. It was a beautiful day for some fun after all, and it couldn't go to waste. He heard his doorbell ring, and one by one he greeted his friends as they walked in, like a never-ending train of kids getting Orban, and all his stress about youth disappeared. But the most important thing was the party was fun. Activities like spike ball, and games like cornhole were what set up the party to be what it should be, a party. Anthony made sure to have a barbecue set up so that people would be eating and happy, and everyone was having fun. At one point, Anthony went to order 149 pieces of wings because of how quickly the food was devoured. Everything was going so well until Anthony passed by his living room to grab some extra snacks from the pantry and saw his parents' favorite vase 3 feet in front of him, shattered. Anthony's heart dropped and he scrambles to the vase. Panicking, what on earth was he supposed to do? His panic and stress forms into anger and he quickly runs to kick everybody out of the house. As everyone leaves, Anthony decided that since the whole night has gone horrible, he might as well take it as a sign and never skip youth again. And he asks his best friend to go with him while there's still some time left. He leaves the vase as is, deciding to pray about it and deal with it when he gets home. As he was cleaning the house, he calls the store to cancel the order of 149 wings that he placed. The manager came on the phone, infuriated. Yet Anthony hung up in her face and went quickly to his friend's car. Anthony felt like the walls around him were closing in, as the guilt was racing through his mind. He didn't know what he should do. Was youth really going to solve all his problems? What was he going to do when he gets home? If only he got home that night.
So what does this all mean? If Anthony did not host the party during Friday Youth and found the broken vase, Parthenia would not have had a reason to go out and buy a new one by stealing the wallet. If Parthenia did not steal the wallet, she would not have dropped the wallet when she bumped into Carol storming out. If Parthenia did not drop the wallet after bumping into Carol, then David would not have picked it up and become distracted with his phone while driving. If David was not distracted from his phone, then the crash would have never happened. But what does this all really mean? You see, we're all inevitably connected to each other in some way. The action of one person affects not only himself, but the people around him. So when one person falls, the rest follow. And it keeps going and going. So instead of following this chain, instead of contributing to these events, instead of looking at other people, doing something wrong and copying them, think about who you are. A Christian. A Christ-like figure. Do you truly represent Christ in your everyday life? Only your actions will tell. And do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God.